Hey everyone, good evening. This is Marin Ellis, Rev Trainer. We're on Tuesday night live, and we got a great one for you here tonight. Some great information I want to share with you, give you some insight on how you can work out. How you can lose weight, lose 10 pounds, or even more necessarily without working out. I know some of you don't always want to work out. You don't I either have the time, the motivation, something, but you still have goals. Well, today, this is what we're going to get. I'm going to help you achieve those goals without fitness advice. But I will tell you, if you want to accelerate those goals, you incorporate this habit with intermittent fasting, with fitness, you'll see some crazy results. So I right now myself are seeing some great results doing this information. So again, got a great night. Tuesday Night Live, 8 p.m. Central. We're going to cover some great information, give you the knowledge that you need to achieve your health, fitness, and faith goals. All right, let's go. So, how to lose body fat without exercise. And now this is the thing that a lot of people have a problem with. They do intermittent fasting, but there's certain things that when you do intermittent fasting, some of us just do it wrong. And that's what I want to cover. So, we're going to discuss welcome to intermittent fasting, why intermittent fasting is important, why most people fail at fasting, and then we'll also cover what the Bible says about fasting, benefits of intermittent fasting, and then what next? What can you do next? Hey Renee, hello, how you doing this evening? Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'm on Instagram Live as well, so I'll be looking at both screens. But hey, I'm not a doctor, but I wanted to put the voice of a doctor in here so you guys can see how credible this information is. This is Dr. Ahmad Malik. If you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and your doctor hasn't mentioned intermittent fasting, a low carb, low sugar, and high fat diet, change your doctor. And I'm gonna read that one more time. If you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I want to tell you, even if you haven't been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, there's more people out there that have type 2 than even know about it. They say in some studies, they think 70 to 80% of the population, based off of our diet here in America, have type 2 diabetes and don't know about it. So, next time you go get your physical, make sure you get your A1C checked, get your sugar levels checked, because sugar and high insulin levels can run havoc on our bodies. If you have not been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and your doctor hasn't mentioned intermittent fasting, a low carb, low sugar, high fat diet, change your doctor. And a lot of you out there, a lot of people are like, oh, I need to go on a low fat diet. That is not what you want. That is, we'll get into that later, but that is not what you want. You want to focus on low sugar and keep those insulin levels low. So, what is intermittent fasting? Many diets focus on what you eat. Everybody's like, oh, I can eat this, can't eat that. And when you're starting this journey, you don't always want to do things the hard way. So when I work with my clients, we start simple. We start under very few restrictions, but the one restriction I will do, and if you're on my one of my clients on here, you already know, we'll talk about when to eat. So many diets focus on what to eat, but intermittent fasting is all about when you eat. With intermittent fasting, you only eat during a specific period of time. So in the faith world, we're familiar with fasting. New Year's comes around, we fast. We fast for 3 days, 7 days, 40 days. We pray about it. We want something. And I really think that we're just like, hey, fasting is a part of the process, a part of the breakthrough. Well, if you make intermittent fasting a part of your lifestyle, there's some physical breakthroughs that you'll be able to achieve as well. And we'll get more into that. But again, it's a window of time that you're focused on, not so much what you're eating. That is important, but we're focused on the window of time that you're eating. So without intermittent fasting, as you can see here in the diagram, you're just eating around the clock. You eat when you feel like it, when you think you want to eat. Oh, I want something. I'm hungry. I want to snack on something. And again, you're not cared about when you eat or what you eat. And this is going to kill any goals that you have, even if you are working out. As the saying goes, you can't outwork a bad diet. If you eat around the clock, it's going to be very hard. You're going to have to work that much harder. And in some cases, it makes it almost impossible to achieve the goals that you want. But with intermittent fasting, again, we are in that window. So why intermittent fasting? Fasting between meals or time restricted eating is proven to help with weight loss, but it's also beneficial for heart and mind and reduces the risk of diabetes and heart disease. Overall, it leads to better health. If you want to live longer, if you want to feel healthy, you want to look better, you want to move better, intermittent fasting is amazing. Overall, it leads to better health. If you are like many people who are new to wanting to live a healthier lifestyle, this is key. Again, we're all about getting results. A lot of people say, oh, if you do this, if you do that. Intermittent fasting is a way of life. It's not a fad. It's something that I like to say, and again, I tell my clients this, it's kind of the grace. If you really want to enjoy the foods that you really like, and you want to give yourself a treat every once in a while, in moderation, in balance, intermittent fasting is a way to build up some credit in the bank. So that way, every once in a while you can have that treat to reward yourself. But again, this is a lifestyle. This is not a fad thing. This is a way of life. So why most people fail? So we're going to get right into it. And many of you might have tried to do intermittent fasting. You're like, hey, I didn't get results. And I've done intermittent fasting before where I didn't get results. But on this last few rounds, I'm currently in a season of intermittent fasting, and really that much more dedicated to making a part of my lifestyle. I was able to find some things that worked and didn't work. Going too hard too fast. That's the number one thing. People hear about it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go for a 20-hour fast and I'm only going to eat for 4 hours out of the day. That's amazing. But I'm telling you, if you start that way, 9 times out of 10, you're going to fail. What you want to do is start, and I suggest you start with a 12-12 diet. And that means 12 hours out of the day, I'm not eating. During the fasting window, when I say not eating, during that fasting window, you can have black coffee with no sugar, no cream. You can have green tea with no sugar, no honey, and you could also have water. Outside of that, anything is going to break the fast. And what I mean by that is anything that is going to spike your insulin levels is going to be something to break your fast. I mean, chewing gum sometimes can even break the fast. So make sure you start in a simple way. If we were working out together, I'm not going to put you under a lot of weight right away. Why? Because you might hurt yourself. You won't come back. You're going to be sore. I'm not going to do that with you nutritionally as well. So you start with the 12-12. Make it a part of your life. Make it a part of your daily habit. Do it for 30 days. See how it feels. Allow your body to adjust to it. But then start looking at other fasts. The standard diet or the standard fast schedule that people go on is the 16-8. And I'm on that one. I revolve between the 16-8 and the 18-6. And I'll kind of go into more detail as to why. The second one, it doesn't fit your lifestyle. We all try to change too many things at one time when we're at the beginning of the year. I want to get in shape. I want to get healthier. Right now, everybody's getting ready for the summertime. You want to lose 10 pounds. You can't find time to exercise. But then you'll try things that don't fit into your schedule. Or let's say you like eating breakfast and you say, okay, I'm gonna do intermittent fasting. And that thing everybody talks about is 16-8. I'm not eating until 12 p.m. and then I'm finished eating at 8 p.m. Oh, how can I have breakfast? Well, if you want breakfast and you don't mind you don't mind ending your feeding window earlier in the day, you can start your fasting at 10, 9 a.m. and then count 8 hours from there. You don't have to stick to a specific regimen as long as you stick to the allotted time that you have chosen to fit your lifestyle. That's going to be key. Not tracking what you're eating, huge, absolutely huge. And I'm not telling you to get MyFitnessPal and track your calories. This is completely different. Tracking calories is monotonous. It gets boring. It makes you not enjoy it. It also makes you fail. A lot of people fail. In this, I'm not telling you to count macros. I'm not telling you to do any of that. not tracking what you're eating. The quality of and nutrition value of your food matters. Calories in versus calories out does matter in some cases. So if you want an idea of how many calories you should eat a day, and what I'm saying by that is we all have what we call an RMR, resting metabolic rate. And there's also the basal metabolic rate. The basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories. If I woke up, didn't get out of bed, just stayed in bed all day, didn't move, just watched TV, and then went to sleep, that's how many calories I'm gonna burn in a day. That's my basal metabolic rate. If you want to lose weight, a simple way to look at things is oftentimes you want to be in a lower caloric intake than your basal metabolic rate. In some cases, you'll lose weight, but there's other science to that, to things you have to change. That being said, if I tell you, hey, you're doing 16-8, you're eating between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., and you go in that window and eat 3,000 calories, you're still going to gain weight if your basal metabolic rate said you're supposed to have 1,500 calories. So if you guys want to find out how many calories, or an estimate of how many calories you want to eat or should be eating a day, go and visit the website. I'll show you the link later on. It's divinedesignfit.com, and click macro calculator. And when you go there and click that, you fill out some information about your activity, lifestyle, your age, height, all this stuff, and it'll give you an estimate of how many calories you should be eating a day. And again, it's not always just about calories in, calories out, but that'll give you some good information on how to start, where to start. Poor food choices. Okay, so this we live, if you didn't know, the American diet is, the acronym for the American diet is actually called SAD, SAD. And it is sad. It's the standard American diet is what it means, but it is sad. We eat more processed foods and foods with more chemicals and this and that and sugar-free this and sugar-free that, thinking that it's healthier when ultimately you're eating a package full of chemicals or processed foods. Poor food choices is also going to kill the results that you want. So, for instance, 1,000 calories from pizza is going to be different than, in ice cream, is going to be different than 1,000 calories from chicken or fish and vegetables. The type of food you eat, the nutritional density, is going to make a difference in how your body processes it, how it uses it. So when you're making your choices on what you're going to eat in that window, try to stick away from processed foods. Try to stick away from foods with a lot of sugar and starch. Focus on your healthy proteins, healthy fats, and green leafy vegetables. You will see a reward. And I'm telling you, trying to eat 2,000 calories or 1,200 calories or 1,500 calories of whole food is a lot harder than you think, versus you can eat processed food and you'll kill that real quick. All right. Not enough water. So this is a big one. I'm in Texas. It's hot. It's summertime. So a lot of times we drink water, or some of my clients like to drink sweet tea. Um, and in that case, I'll put my hand up, but I try my best to stay away from it. But focus on water. Hydration is so important. Many people mistake the feeling of hunger, and they think, oh, I'm hungry, when they're really thirsty. So drinking enough water during your non-feeding window also will help you stick to the plan, because if you don't mistake hunger for thirst and you focus on drinking water, you're like, oh, I'm really not hungry. All right. And that'll help you stick to it as well. Binge eating. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten for 12 hours. I haven't eaten for 16 hours. Oh, I'm fiending for uh some information. Not information. I'm feeding for food. I'm feeding for sugar. I'm feeding for this kind of food that I have a craving for. And then all of a sudden you just binge eat. You just go crazy. You get whatever you want. This is not good. Over consuming food during that feeding window, again, will outweigh most of the benefits of intermittent fasting. Yes, even if you wait 16 hours, but you eat those 3,000 calories when you need to eat 1,500, you'll still gain weight. Okay. And there's no reason to do this if you're not in it to stick with it, because you want to get results. All right. And then last one, you're overdoing it. Now, how many times are you going to hear a trainer tell you, oh, you're overdoing your stuff? You're overdoing it. You could be fasting for too long. You could be fasting for a extreme period of time that is not helpful or healthy in the long run for your body. Our bodies are smart and they'll eventually adjust to survive. And surviving does not always mean that you're putting your body in this optimal position for health. So, longer fasts do not always mean more weight loss if that's your goal. So, again, find what works for you at minimum 12. Jen asked, what's the ideal for fasting? I would say starting off with 16:8. I would start off with 16:8. I found it very easy to do 16:8. But I'm going to give you guys a little trick here. If you're watching this live, maybe the people who watch the recording will see this. 18:6 is when you start to really bump up and get that extra credit. And what I mean by that is, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but there's this thing called autophagy, and it helps prevent cancer. It helps prevent all kinds of things based off of the fact that our bodies begin to heal and repair itself and get rid of dead cells or repair cells after we've been fasting for 16 plus hours. When you hit that 16, 17, 18 mark, God created a body that would do amazing things. So again, work your way into it, but the goal, my suggestion would be to get at least to the 18:6 at some point in time, 20 and 4. So that's 18 hours of fasting, 6 hours of eating. Yes, Jen, that's what I would recommend. 18 hours of fasting, 6 hours of eating. Whenever you look at a fraction of the fasting information, the first number is the fasting window, nothing but coffee, green tea, or water. The second number is going to always be the period of time, how many hours, consecutive hours that you can eat. All right. Great question. So we're going to take a quick break here. Now, this blew my mind. You know how we're all about faith and fitness here, but intermittent fasting is in the Bible. I found it. Go look it up for yourself. But we're going to read this. It says Ecclesiastes 10:16-17. Woe to you, land whose king is a boy and whose princes feast in the morning. Oh, what does that sound like? That sounds like breakfast to me. Or periods of time where you were eating in the morning in general. I said you could be flexible with it, but this is a general statement. Blessed are you, land whose king, blessed are you, land whose king is of nobility and whose princes eat at the appropriate time for strength and not for drunkenness. Well, that's giving you time and a reason to eat. It's saying, hey, the appropriate time is not the morning. The appropriate time to eat is later on in the day, fasting. But then also the reason to eat. We're not eating for drunkenness. And you might associate drunkenness with alcohol, which is true. But drunkenness also means just drinking or eating in abundance and just being gluttonous and eating just to eat. You're supposed to eat for strength. God gave us this body. We have things to do with this body. We have purposes, and you need strength to do it. And that is the purpose of food. Yes, you can enjoy food, but always remember that you can abuse it if you don't use what it's made for. So our eating is for strength. So if people say, oh, fasting, intermittent fasting is in the Bible, you have it right here. These are not my words. These are God's words. So take it and run with it. All right. So the intermittent fasting benefits. All right. And this is all based on scientific research here. So changes the function of your cells, hormones, and genes. We always are talking about, hey, this is a genetic problem. I got bad genes from my mom. I got bad genes from my dad. In some cases, there's predispositions, but medical community and the science community is starting to realize that a lot of it isn't what just got passed down genetically. It's the food and the diet and the eating habits that got passed down that we're adopting. So intermittent fasting helps lower insulin levels. It helps increase human growth hormone. And people are like, oh, I don't want human growth hormone. No, human growth hormone is not a steroid. Human growth hormone is something that your body makes naturally, and it'll also increase the rate of which you burn fat and help muscle gain. Your body will begin to repair and remove damaged cells and remove waste from cells. So imagine a car. If you're driving your car and your exhaust pipe is clogged or something like that, your car isn't going to go long. It's not going to go very far. It's going to shut down. Why? Because the action of your car running produces waste. That's what comes out the exhaust. Your human body is the same thing. If you're working out, you're introducing oxidative stresses to your body. Just anytime you're burning calories, there's waste. Intermittent fasting helps your body get rid of that waste. And how? You're giving your body a chance to not digest food. And when it's not digesting food, what's it doing? It's healing yourself. So again, that's key. Autophagy, like I said earlier, cellular waste removal, and it's initiated when fasting. It increases hour 16 or 18th hour of fasting. And then increased autophagy, as I was telling you earlier, can provide protection against several diseases like cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. In many cases, some people call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes or diabetes of the brain because that's how correlated it is with the amount of sugar and how often we eat. It helps to lose weight and visceral fat. So, just a quick education, there's two kinds of fat. Yes, I'll just leave it there. There's two kinds of fat. You got subcutaneous fat. That's the fat that's like underneath our skin and stuff like that. And then you have visceral fat. Neither one is great. You want to have a low body fat percentage. When we say, oh, I want to tone up, all you're saying is, I want to lean. I want to get rid of some body fat so I can see my muscles. That's the goal of all this, is to lose body fat. Um, but when you are looking at what's the most important, and you can't choose what you're going to burn, subcutaneous or visceral. Visceral is the one that is linked to more diseases. Visceral is the fat that's around your organs. And a good way to know is if you have fat in your midsection, in your stomach, or in, if you ever did a DEXA scan, they call it the android region. This area right here, if you have a belly, a lot of times, if you were to figure out what kind of fat you're dealing with, is going to be visceral fat. And again, like I said, this is around your organs and does a lot of damage to your body and causes various diseases. Reduces insulin resistance and risk of type 2 diabetes. Again, I said earlier, there are so many people in the population of the United States and the world who are type 2 diabetics who have no clue. They're walking around. And one of the keys to longevity, living longer and doing the things that God has for you and spending more time with your family and enjoying a better quality of life for a longer period of time, is reducing your insulin levels overall. When you go to the doctor, ask for a test called A1C, and it'll tell you what your sugar levels were over a 2 to 3 month period of time. And ask your doctor, am I type 2 diabetes? I pray that you're not, but I would rather you know and have the knowledge and know what to do than not know. But fat loss is also very hard in the presence of insulin. I'm gonna tell you this right now. That old adage of, oh, eat every 2 hours, eat small snack every 2 hours. Every time you eat, you're shooting your insulin up, and then it goes down, up, goes down. It's like a roller coaster. Eventually, you're going to get nauseous if the roller coaster continues to go up and down for a long period of time. At some point on a roller coaster, they have to have some smooth areas, because if not, you wouldn't get on it. Well, insulin levels is kind of the same way. If we eat up and down and our insulin levels are always high or spiking, it's going to be impossible to lose weight. Our body is more focused on storing the sugars when we eat, when our insulin levels are high, than it is on burning fat. So if you want to burn fat and you're working out and doing all this stuff, but you are like, I can't burn fat, a lot of it is going to be your insulin levels. And beneficial for heart, it's going to help your blood sugar levels, help your blood pressure, and then also help your total and reduce your total and your LDL, or the bad cholesterol. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Um, we're gonna do these every Tuesday night live. But again, if you want more information, visit our website. It's divinedesignfit.com. And I mentioned earlier, if you go to the homepage and you go over to the right and click macro calculator, there'll be some information for you there. But I thank you for your time, but I also want to invite you to join and subscribe to our newsletter, because we'll be dropping new information. We'll be dropping other tips and tricks to help you lose weight, burn fat, and just live a longer, healthier life. This is a lifestyle. This is the body that God gave us. We have to take care of it. We have to be good stewards of it. So go ahead, visit the website, click to subscribe to our newsletter. We have some great information coming. We have great workout videos that will be popping up, show you how to work out at home. Don't necessarily need to always go to the gym. Yes, you can get an amazing body and feel great by working out right there in the comfort of your living room. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, DM me if you're on Instagram. Thank you guys on Instagram. If you have any questions, DM me. Feel free. I'll either do a video on the questions or I'll directly answer you. And if you have any questions here on Facebook, YouTube, I'm here for you. Just leave them in the comments below. And as always, faith and fitness. And I did have one question. Renee asked, do I suggest the 18-6? Yes, but I'm not suggesting starting there. If you're already intermittent fasting and you're already used to the 16-8, 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours consecutive of eating, then yes, bump it up to the 18-6. It's a very little effort, very little to get used to. Bump it up to the 18-6. That's when you're going to really start to see those autophagy, cellular repair, and getting rid of cells that are completely damaged and destructed. That's when you're going to start to see those benefits. So yes, I do suggest 18-6, but again, start with 12-12, do it for 30 days, bump up to the 16-8, see how you feel, do that for 30 days. And then if you can keep pushing along with it, go to the 18-6. All right. Any other questions? And thank you, Renee. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you guys having some amazing questions. There's a lot of confusion out there when it comes to intermittent fasting. What should we do? What should we not do? When should we do it? When should we not do it? I just wanted to make it plain for y'all. All right. Well, you guys have a great evening. Faith and fitness. I pray that you all have healing and get the results that you want. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon.